Sauber will be wondering what's going on with Kamui Kobayashi. A good step forward for them in the last race, but he looked like he really struggled out there today.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing is just the natural ebb and flow of racing as we join him on board here, down into the braking zone, into turn one. You've got to get a front wheel on that curb, and he was a little bit wider than he should really be. And again, at turn two, you've got to get a lot closer to that curb. So whether that's just inexperience on the track or something to do with the characteristic of the car, again, there's got to be a bit of curb hopping through the second chicane, and look how close to get to the wall on the exit there. Through this very fast right-hander taken flat out, which is where Olivier Panis unfortunately broke both his legs a decade or so ago. And then out off the back chicane, and then down this very street circuit feel, isn't it? You've got walls and Armco either side, and then you've got to brake just under the bridge. It sounded like he was on the brakes a bit earlier. And then the run through the chicane that takes you down to the hairpin. It looks like he was struggling with traction coming off that turn. Nice run up through the gears, and then look at that, all the sea of people down at this hairpin here. You've got grandstands surrounding you, keen to get on the throttle as early as possible. Again, just too much wheel spin there, and that will be costing him lap time all the way down this long stretch, the fastest part of the track, well over 320 kilometers an hour as he tries to spot his braking, probably being put off a little bit by the car in front, and then over the curbs, and as you can see, that Virgin car, I think it was, just missed the chicane completely, allowing him to get round to his lap. And unfortunately, he's one of the big teams that have dropped out.
Not good enough for Q2, but a fair bit quicker than when I drove you around on a golf buggy last night.
We don't want to discuss that on this. We're talking about professional racing drivers here,
Jake,
Jake, please. But the reality is, it wasn't a bad lap, David, really, was it? Just shows you that, these guys are pushing really hard all the way through, and yet he didn't make it. So it's not just a given in future that it's just going to be the three new teams that are going to be propping up the rear. I think they're going to slowly emerge into the back of these other cars, and so everyone has to watch their mirror.
Well, I think what's interesting is that obviously this is a high-speed track. They do have to change the aero performance. They probably run bigger brake ducts as well because of all that extra energy that's going into the car. And all of this affects your aerodynamics. So what we saw in Turkey 2 weeks ago, they put in a great performance. He was in the top 10. Here, they're back to where they've been in the previous 6 races before that, and it's just not good enough for Sauber.
If we look at the end of